Hey guys, it's Ian here and I'm back with yet another video for you today. So today I'm going to be talking to you about how to flirt with a girl that you really like, because it seems like a lot of guys are struggling with the flirting aspect in their interactions. Now a lot of guys can do the initial approach and they can get that conversation going, but they really struggle to build that attraction after that. So we're going to delve into this a bit more today, but look, I'm not just going to talk about it without showing you how it's done in real life. That would just be boring and that would be unjust. So my team and I, we've put together a piece of infield footage of me in action, actually flirting with a girl that I liked. Now she was a really classy chick, a really lovely chick. So let's watch the footage and let's see how I got along with her. So stay tuned. You look really nice, by the way.
Thank you.
Like, I saw you walking past.
Thank you.
I thought I'd say hello.
Yeah, don't worry.
What are you up to tonight?
I'm going to dinner now with friends. They have me at home.
Oh yeah. That's in
It's
down.
I think
Soho. Yeah. And Iain. Do you do like catwalk?
Sometimes, but I'm not tall enough because I'm
Really?
I'm like 5'8", so it's not tall really.
Do you want to be a lawyer in the
I'm
future?
not sure yet. I have like 1 year left, and then I might do like an MBA or something like that and go from there.
Might just do an MBA casually.
Yeah, after law,
And a
after law
PhD.
school.
You're probably in really good shape.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I enjoy.
Can't be fun.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, it's a big coat. You never know. No, but I work
Full
on
with fat.
Yeah,
You've got like greeny eyes. Do I?
I've got very green eyes. Yeah.
Are they?
Sometimes they turn yellow.
They look like great grey.
Really? No, that's quite interesting. They change their colors.
Changing.
I mean, I can't see it.
Turning evil.
Yeah, turning evil. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm a nice person.
You're a nice person.
Very polite. I think it's important.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe we can go for like a drink some other time.
Sure, it's sure. I can give you a number. Like
My
we can text.
tongue is like tied.
Yes. Okay. So my name is Victor. Text me and let's see.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, so what can we learn from this interaction in terms of flirting with a girl that you like? Now you see, when guys are getting into this stuff for that very first time, when guys are starting off in their journey into that self-development with women, so many of them will put the girl on a pedestal, which is a tremendous mistake, and it really makes me shiver when I see it. Look, and I'm not even talking about, the really attractive women. It's even worse with them. And it's funny because, whenever I see it in real life, the guys' whole demeanor just changes and it shifts so dramatically. Now you even see it with those macho kind of lawyer type guys who are supposed to be all macho and perfect, yet they just melt in that company of those women. And it just goes to show that never judge a book by its cover. Now these guys become so much more accommodating, so much nicer than they ever were with anybody else in their entire life, and they soften their tone of the voice, and it's almost like someone's kicked them in the nuts that they will agree with absolutely everything that she says. Look, I'm not gonna go on a rant, and I'm not gonna tell you how you have to become like some macho alpha male or about trying to appear more manly in front of women. No, that's kind of beside the point. But changing your whole demeanor, when you're communicating with a girl that you like, and going to the other extreme, that is just wrong, and it's not going to get you anywhere. You see, it's wrong on so many levels because you're basically changing who you are, and you're changing who you are and what you stand for, because you're presenting yourself as a completely different guy in a completely different light too, which is just the wrong type of behavior to be displaying. And basically, look, by doing this, it's going to prevent you from being able to flirt with your girl, because you are setting that frame that you're just a friend rather than a lover. Okay, so you're friend zoning yourself and you're taking yourself out of that picture. Okay, so what can we do to change this behavior? Well, look, I always tell the guys that I coach at Karma Lifestyles, and get ready for this, look, I always tell them, and seriously, I tell them to try to imagine her as a dude, but with long hair, with boobs, and just a far more attractive version, of a guy. And I know you might be thinking, what the heck am I talking about? But look, I'm just saying that, I'm not trying to be funny, but it is really the case. So you really need to start believing it too. You need to realize that women are just a slightly different version of men. We're actually not so different. So really get rid of those stereotypes that, she has to be treated like a princess, or she has has to be treated like something special. And ultimately, when you start dating her and when you start going out with her, you will realize that her poo smells just as bad as yours, and she will have body odor just as bad as yours if she doesn't wash, and she will not look nearly as good as when you first met if she doesn't take care of herself and if she doesn't look after herself in that long term. So yeah, look, we're not so different after all, and honestly guys, the more and more that I do this stuff, the more that I realize how similar we actually are. So really get rid of that belief and get out of that mindset that women are really different to men. It's just not true, and it's just an excuse that will actually prevent you from taking action, and that will prevent you from getting that success with women. And it will also prevent you from being able to flirt with her because you're going to be too anxious to be able to perform. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to touch on, and it's something that guys always forget to do when they're talking to a girl that they really dig, is to actually listen to what she's saying. And look, I know and I understand it can be difficult when the nerves are running high and when that adrenaline's really pumping through your veins, and when you set yourself high expectations from that date, and especially when you cold approach her, say at a bar or during the daytime, you're probably just thinking, how are you going to survive the next few minutes? So you're not really thinking about anything else. But look, I can't stress how important it is to listen to her, because you will ultimately figure out what she's like as a person. You'll find out what she values most in life, and this will give you the vital cues in order to be able to flirt with her. And I haven't even begun to talk about how simple of an act of listening will help you to take her home, because you will know how far she lives, or if she's free the next day, for instance, which is really important in steering that interaction the correct way. But let's not get too sidetracked now, because look, listening is important, and the ultimate goal is for that conversation to flow effortlessly. Now, when the conversation's flowing effortlessly and smoothly, that is when the real flirting comes about. So you want to get yourself into a position where you have that conversational flow, and when the topics are just moving around like a steady line and are not changing too many directions. Okay, so really try to focus on what she's talking about, or perhaps it's a response to what you've said to her, and you'll begin to get a gist of how to flirt with her. And look, you don't need to squint and you don't need to obsess about everything, absolutely everything that she's saying either. Just relax and really try to enjoy that interaction and try to find that flow and try to find that rhythm. I mean, look, what I'm getting to here is that you need to be in the moment, okay? The essence of great flirting comes from being in the moment, and it can't be planned well in advance. So definitely listen to her, watch what she says, and pick up on those cues, and really do have fun with it, okay? Pick up on those small things that she says, or the way in which that she acts, and use this to continue that conversation. And it can be anything. There are so many things that you can pick up on, because remember that, look, most communication is non-verbal anyway, okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to be what she says. It can be something about her body language, or it can be the way in which she's smiling and laughing, or even where she's looking, because there are so many things that you can spot when your eyes are wide open. So try to be as creative as you can. Like for example, if she's mildly showing off about her career, or if she says she's some sort of model, then you can tease her about it. I don't know, say that you're going to be a bigger model than she is, or on the other hand, if she's being modest about something, you can tease her about that too, and say that she's really innocent and she's authentic. Now it makes the conversation so much more interesting, and makes it so much more rich, and you'll both have a memorable time together. Okay, so what I'm really leading on to here, and I suppose my next top tip on how to flirt with a girl that you really like, is to take risks, guys. Now you have to take those risks if you want to progress the interaction, and if you want to get flirtatious with her. And that's what intimacy really is all about. And look, when I say risks, I'm not talking about just suddenly lunging forward to kiss her, or something completely uncalibrated like that. No, what I'm talking about is getting out of your comfort zone and saying things which will stimulate her emotions, okay? And such as making a statement on what she's wearing, or pointing out how she's acting, for instance, and so on and so forth. So in essence, you need to get into the habit of becoming a little bit cheeky in your communication, and you always have to be really pressing forward. But look, don't forget, always take a few steps back too. You know, you don't want to be too pushy now. But yeah, you see, when you're cheeky, the conversation will be so much more interesting, and you know, your true wit really will shine, and your intelligence will also show too. And that's basically where that flirting really comes from. You know, you need to get out of the habit of remaining at that status quo where, you know, when you're interacting with her, get out of that habit of having those really monotone and, you know, really one-dimensional conversations, because there is just no flavor to that at all, and she won't be attracted to you, okay? And get into the habit of taking those small risks. Now, one other thing I should mention at this point, and something that I've always kind of talked about, is, look, never be afraid to express yourself when you're interacting with her. Like, for instance, you know, if you recently, you know, read a book that you really liked, or if you saw a documentary that kind of really resonated with you, then by all means, you know, try to insert that into the conversation. And you're probably thinking, wouldn't it be kind of totally random to start talking about a book that I read? Well, you know, when you go out a lot, you realize that conversations in their very nature are so random, and there's nothing wrong in just flipping the subject. Where is it written that you have to keep talking about the same thing? It's not written anywhere, okay? You can spin that conversation 360, and in fact, that will even make it more interesting. So definitely, look, don't be afraid to express yourself fully, express your beliefs, and really do try to talk about, you know, your passions and what makes you feel good. And once you get to this stage, you will find a happy medium where you can both begin to kind of flirt with each other as you're feeling great, you know, talking to her. You can draw upon, you know, what you know to get flirtatious. Like, for example, you can tell her that she's a splitting image of, I don't know, Princess Leia, I don't know, you know, whatever's relevant to that conversational flow. So definitely be creative, you know, when you're engaging with girls that you like, and don't just stick to what you read from a book. Don't rely on those lines, you know, on those pickup lines, because trust me, the lines won't get you laid, and it will definitely won't get you attracted to her in that long term. I can tell you that for sure. So get into the habit of being creative in your interactions, and don't be afraid to be creative and, you know, draw upon those sudden ideas that get you really excited. And obviously, look, don't offend her either. Always use your common sense, because, you know, the ladies are the pretty friends who make us happy and satisfied. Okay guys, we've sadly come to the end of yet another video today, but don't you worry, as you know, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be posting many more amazing videos very soon, so do stay tuned. And I do hope that you like the insights on flirting today, and by all means, please do put your own experiences on flirting with women in the comment section right down below, as I'm eager, you know, to hear what you've been up to. Also, don't forget to sign up to our regular newsletter at Karma Lifestyles, as we'll be sharing all the latest news, seduction tips, and updates from us. So do click on the newsletter link in the video's description right down below. It's just your email address, that is all. And in case you can't find it, not to worry, as I'll post it in the comment section too, so don't miss out. Okay guys, so today you were joined by Iain Miles, and I shall see you next time.